August 4th, 2016. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 105 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
All right, so let's get the bad beats out of the way. That seems to be the way that
is that what we do now? That
seems how we do this now, is just get all the bad beats out of the way. So we heard a rumor that there were free buy bets at the Flamingo and the Cromwell, just like Downtown Grand, right? Free buy bets on the 4 and 10. And we were pretty skeptical. And yeah, sure enough, we've heard from several listeners that no, there are no free buy bets at Downtown, or excuse me, at Flamingo or Cromwell. Yeah, I would have been too.
If a strip casino offered free buy bets,
yeah, that
would change everything, right? I mean, the other casinos would have to follow suit.
Sure, and well, especially with Cromwell having 100 times odds already, why would, and I'm sure they're getting a lot of players there as a result, why would they then also introduce free buy bets when, you know, they're probably filling up their tables already?
Well, you can put bets there, right?
Yes, right. That's what we've been told, put bets, yeah.
Right. So, you know, why wouldn't you just put 5 with, 200 odds or whatever?
That's true, right? For like the 4 and 10, if you wanted to bet that much.
Right.
But I mean, still, if you only want to bet $10, like you can at Downtown Grand, then...
Well, then you could... I guess on a $5 table, you'd have to put 15. You'd put 5 with 10 odds.
Well, and that doesn't get you anything. That's terrible. You might as well just place it.
25.
Yeah, but place it and you get 27
for a $15 bet.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I guess.
I think you answered your own question.
But I mean, the higher. I'm just saying is with putting more out there.
Yeah.
You're going to get double odds anyway on your.
You're going to get 2 to 1 on your odds, is what you're saying.
Yeah, right. You're going to get 2 to 1, just like a free buy bet.
Yeah. What are you getting at here, Dr. Mike?
I'm just saying, bet more.
All right. But here's the good news. The free buy bets are still at Downtown Grand, and it looks like they're now permanent, because listener Justin reports that they are advertising the free buy bets on their slot machine. So like just in the slot area, it says, hey, we've got free buy bets at the craps table, right?
So they printed something up.
So yeah, they're advertising it a lot more than they used to. They've moved their craps tables to the center of the casino.
It's about time.
Right?
Yeah.
And according to a boxman named Roy, free buy bets are here to stay. So that's a pretty good indication that it's sticking. So that's great.
Yeah, I wonder why they took it away for a little bit.
I think they just said, well, let's see how this experiment worked. And, when the buy bets were gone, something happened, right? Either customers started staying away or they complained or who knows. But
something must have happened to bring it back.
Yeah.
Now, every casino should follow suit and put their craps tables in the center of the casino. Mm-hmm. Right. I
think so too, just because they get so loud. It's good publicity for the casino, right?
Well, exactly. I wasn't being funny about that. I mean, I think it's the best place for it. I always wonder sometimes we go to some and they're off to the side. Mm-hmm. I mean, put it in the center where everyone's loud. It draws people. Hey, what's going on over there?
Right. Draws people in. And then, if they don't play craps, well, they're close to everything else. They play some slots, they play some blackjack, whatever.
Yeah. Put Chuck-a-Luck off in the corner. You never hear a big, noise maker. Chuck-a-Luck's not a noise maker.
They should just hire some shills to stand around the Chuck-a-Luck table and scream, woo, 3 sixes. All right, continuing with the bad beat. That was a good beat, actually. The free buy bets is still here.
Yeah, that's kind of a good beat.
So when Mike and I would get free play at Harrah's Southern California, we would always play it on video poker. And for the longest time, they had full pay bonus poker all over the casino.
Yeah.
They had it
everywhere. They had it at the bar.
Yes.
We just sat at the bar and played it, which is very nice.
Then they cut back and they changed it to 7.5 on bonus poker. And there were only 4 machines left that we could find in the casino that had full pay bonus poker. And 2 of them were next to each other, and then the other 2 were just kind of off in some random area. Yeah, they weren't next to each other. Well, eventually the 2 that were next to each other went away.
Yeah, that was weird. They just both at the same time.
So then now we only had 2 that weren't near each other. They were just these random machines off, by themselves. And then there was only 1. And as of a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, the last one went away. So all of our, and we kind of kept it a secret.
Well, we didn't keep it a secret.
No, but we didn't advertise it because, when we would go in there, if it were crowded, we were hoping that, the one machine that we could play full pay on, would be open. But
And it
now it's
wasn't
gone.
just us, because we do have a story about a lady that
Yeah, we talked about
were
it on a
playing the
previous
machine,
episode.
yeah, and she came up and just like, oh, you know what? Where's the other machine? When one of them had disappeared. We're like, we don't know.
Yeah, but now it was always frustrating when we'd go to the machine and somebody would be playing Keno on it.
Right.
You know, it was one of those
Oh,
multi-game machines. It's like,
If you walk up and they're playing, some kind of video poker,
Yeah.
like they're playing Deuces Wild or something, well, you kind of understand that. They just picked, but they're playing Keno. How many times are they playing Keno?
I know,
You
it's-
want to just like strangle the person.
do you understand that you can play Keno anywhere,
Yeah.
but this is the only place we can play video poker? So anyway, that's gone. So that's another bad beat. Here's the worst bad beat.
Well,
though.
there's 7 5s. There's still some
It's 7-5 bonus,
There's
so it's not horrible.
There's a lot of 6 5s.
There's a lot of 6-5s, and we've talked about this before. There are machines that say they're bonus poker,
and they're
it's
not.
8-5, and it's just jacks or better when you look at the pay table,
Right,
which is
exactly. And there's some that 2 pair pays even money.
yeah, they're 8-5, but 2 pair pays even money. Or no, it doesn't pay even money. You get your money back.
Yeah, you
Pays-
get your
right,
money
yeah,
back,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I wonder if we could sue over that. If we, the one that says bonus poker was just bet jacks are better.
Make them change the whole thing. Yeah, that would win us a lot of friends.
No, I mean sue. Like some class action
Class
lawsuit.
action lawsuit.
I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know if that's something that's.
We'll have to ask a lawyer.
All right, here's the worst part. Okay, we get quite a bit of free play from Harrah's Southern California. Some weekly, some monthly, and some for specific days. And it's nice because the specific days are usually Fridays.
Yeah,
So, we
which
can
is
take
great
advantage
for
of it.
us.
So we get mailers with coupons that say, present this coupon directly to the casino cage cashier in exchange for your promotional chips to bet at your favorite table game. Well, the nice thing was that if we didn't want table game chips, we could just ask for free slot play instead.
Well, as a matter of fact, you didn't even have to ask. They always asked you.
That's true. They said, "Do you
asked
want
do
slot or
want
table?"
slot
Yeah.
or table.
Yeah. Well, we always took the slot play because the table game chips that they would give you were not win till you lose chips. In other words, the dealer would take them once a bet was resolved, whether it was a winner or a loser.
Right. So if you made a bet on the pass line and 7 came up,
Yeah.
they would replace your $5 chip with a real chip,
Yeah.
but take the $5 phony chip.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas in the machine, it stays in there.
Right. Yeah. You just play through it,
Right.
So let's say you had $100 in free play. Well, if you go up to a slot machine and you play that $100 through, well, theoretically, you should be able to turn that $100 in free play into $100 in real cash, minus whatever the house edge on the slot machine is, right?
Theoretically.
Yeah, theoretically. But with the table games, since they take that chip, you're going to get about half your money back. So you have that $100 in table chips because they take it away. Again, you'll get about $50 back minus
you're
whatever
not
the
only
house edge
fighting
is.
the house edge, you're fighting the fact that they take the chip away.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's probably less than 50% because there's a house edge plus
Yeah,
you're
right.
only getting 50-50 on those chips.
Yeah. Well, signs recently went up at Harrah's saying the following. Starting August 1st, 2016, promo chip and slot offers can no longer be swapped. Please redeem your offers only for the type of play indicated. So it looks like they're going to force us now to take our free play in table game
Table
chips.
game chips. And the reason we get those is because we play table games.
Yes.
My brother and my dad get all theirs in slot offers.
Yes, because that's all they play is slot
That's all
machines.
they play,
right.
slot machines, or the large part of their play is slot
Yes,
machines.
yes, right.
So when they go, they don't have to go to the cage. They just go to their favorite slot machine, put their card in, and it says, oh, you get, whatever, and you can load it up onto your machine right there.
Yeah.
We go to the cage with a coupon,
Mm-hmm.
which we return into now chips.
Yeah, this is really going to hurt us. Well, hurt us is kind of a strange word because they're giving us free play anyway, but it's going to be now about half of what it used to be
Right.
as a result of us having to get table games.
Still way more than anywhere else, though. We
Of course.
should qualify
Yeah,
that.
I mean,
it's still a very
much
good
better than
deal.
what we get at the other casinos, but it was a little bit of a shock. And we'll have to see because, again, the last time we went was before August 1st. So next time we go, we'll actually find out
Right,
if
this
this
Friday we'll
took
find
place.
out.
But, I mean, it's pretty clear, isn't it? I mean, they
Yeah.
printed up nice little signs
They
to
did,
show.
but
so.
they're little signs. That's it. I was expecting to see you had told me about this before I saw it,
yeah.
and I was expecting to see some larger. It was a pretty small.
It's a small sign, but
I mean,
it's-
you would not notice that if you weren't attending.
The thing is, the signs were all up by the cashier. There were
Right.
like
They
every
were at-
cashier
every
station
cashier
they had
had
one,
one,
right?
right.
So yeah.
Well, we'll see. This week we just may not get as much free play. I mean, we'll get the same amount of free play. We'll just get it in chips.
Yeah, we won't be able to turn it into the same amount of real money.
Are you going to tell everybody what your goofy plan is for your chips?
No.
Okay.
I am not going to, simply because, look, we've got a little bit of a scheme here to maybe make it a little bit better than 50%, but I don't want to give it away because then the casino will know. And it's nothing.
It's not illegal.
No, it's not illegal.
No,
We're not breaking any rules or anything. It's a little bit of a loophole that's
Right.
perfectly within the rules.
Right.
But no, I'm not going to give it away.
Okay, all right.
No.
Anyone listening out there probably doesn't care, but
Yeah, they don't. All right, that's the end of the bad beats. We'll get that's.
I know what
that's
I'm
all.
going to do with mine. Hard ways.
Oh, I know.
Hard ways.
Yeah, I know what you're doing. Yeah, and you don't even believe. All right, let's move on. When you see us at VIMF, ask me, and I'll tell you in person what I'm doing, or if I can explain it. It is a little technical.
It's a little
but
hard to explain.
yeah, that's true. But anyway, okay, that's the end of it. Speaking of VIMF, okay, since our last episode, it has been announced that Vegas Fanboy will be joining Denton, Dallas, and Beyond, and us at Bingo for VIMF this year. So very exciting news. It's funny because you and I were talking about it. We've been on Adam's show before. He's been on our show. We've never actually met him in person.
No, we've never seen him face to face, just to talk to him over the phone.
So it'll be nice to actually meet him finally and, play some craps with him and do the shows during Bingo. So
I'm going to introduce him to some real craps.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if
He's in for a treat.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what he's in for. He's in for something. VIMF is going to be October 14th through the 16th. And they're still kind of working out the schedule. The official schedule's not up yet, and there's some more stuff that's coming out. So keep your eye out on the VIMF website, and of course we'll be announcing more
14th
stuff. 14th
through 16th. How are we going to stay till the 19th for your birthday?
For my birthday? Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
Because we need to be there to hit the 6 on the fire bet.
Yeah.
And they don't even have fire bets anymore, really. It's hard to find.
Yeah, I guess they still, that's true. Yeah, we can't hit the fire bet at Caesars anymore because they don't have it.
They don't have it.
Yeah. Well, work it out with your wife and find out if you can stay a little longer all the way through my birthday. And
7 days.
Yeah, we'll see if that works.
He won't have a house.
Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, when you're going to buy something through Amazon, go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link at the top of the page. That way, when you make a purchase, we get a little kickback that helps cover the costs of hosting the show, and it doesn't cost you a thing. You'll pay the same price just like normal. So, as usual, this last weekend, we hit Harrah's Southern California.
Our usual Friday night excursion.
Mm-hmm. And it was quite a night, wouldn't you say?
I would say that it was one of the more interesting nights at Harrah's that we've ever had.
All right. So let's talk about it. We got to a table. It was a $15 table, which is a little pricey for me, but I decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bet $15, just take single odds. Maybe I'll place the 6 and 8 for like $30
right.
instead of doing like come
so
bets.
So typically you do come bets with odds,
right.
But because of the 15, you placed it. I still played my come bets, which you would think.
I know it's the opposite of the olden days.
Yeah, right. It's the opposite of the olden days. And you think that would work in my favor. I mean,
that's right.
By the way we teach people craps. No, it worked in Mark's favor. Come betting was not the way to go.
Well, it's let's
maybe for the whole night it was.
Yeah.
But for this one shooter that we're going to talk about, it was not the way to go.
Well, the evening started out very poorly. In fact, you went through quite a bit of money quickly.
Yes,
I was not losing quite as much, but I certainly wasn't winning. We were both behind.
Right.
And this one guy got the dice. He was a novice, right?
I think very much a novice.
Yeah, he seemed to not be too familiar with the game or even, rolling
well,
the dice.
He just basically made a pass line bet the whole time.
Without odds.
Without odds.
Right.
And eventually he did take a few numbers, so he made some money.
Yeah.
But, oh my gosh, he could have made quite a bit more.
So, I'm still playing very conservatively as he starts to make several points. So it's like, oh, good. He's not making too many unique points. I think he's like making 9s over and over and maybe 8s over and over.
9, 5, and 8.
Yeah, that's right. That's
9,
right. So
5, and 8.
Anyway, he, was starting to have a good roll. So then I started to get a little more aggressive. And by that I meant, I'm taking double odds now and then finally, full odds. And you're doing okay, right?
I was doing well. Yeah.
Was he rolling some hard ways for you?
He rolled several hard ways for me. Actually, at the end of his roll, I was down quite a bit, and I was up quite a bit at the end of his roll. Not as much as you, but I was up quite a bit at the end of his roll.
So here's the interesting part of the story. I had placed the 6 and 8, and I think I may have even bought the 4 and 10 as the roll started to get good.
Right.
So again, by this point, he's already had a good roll. And I decide, well, maybe I'll try to jump on this roll now. So I started pressing some of my place bets, and he proceeded to roll a ton of 8s.
Well, he rolled at least 14.
That at the end of it,
I mean, we definitely know he rolled 14. Now, it may have been 15 or 16, but we kind of lost track of how many times you just collected initially.
Yes, right.
But you did it at least twice that I know of. And after that, he rolled 12 8s.
Yes. So the point wasn't 8 when he started rolling a bunch of these, right?
As a matter of fact, he only made 1 8 as a point.
As a point, right.
He made 3 9s and 2 5s.
Yes. So anyway, I had $30 on the 8, and I collected several times when it hit. Oh, same bet, same bet, same bet. And then I decided I would press. And here was the progression that I ended up pressing this 8 on. I started with $30, pressed it to 60. Next time it came up, went to 90. Then 120, then 150, then 210, then 300, then 450, then 600. Now already, I've never had a $600 8 in my life, right?
Yeah, rookie.
So, so it's at 600, then 900, then 1200. Then 1,800.
Hey, you skipped 15.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
I went to 1,800.
You went to 1,800.
Mm-hmm. Then 2,400. And it did not hit when the bet was up to 2,400.
My dad's sitting there. My dad comes up towards the end of this roll, sees that Mark has I think you had 1,800 when he first saw it.
Okay.
And he just what's going on? What? Mark, why is Mark? If I had done that, he would have thought, well, the guy's on a good roll. He had no idea. He talked about it all day Saturday, all day Sunday. I had to finally yell at him to shut up about Mark betting 2,400.
Even the dealers were looking, all the dealers were looking over, and it's like, wait, that's not Mike's bet, that's Mark's bet?
Yeah. Meanwhile,
tell him what you're doing.
Bets, and I just have, a $25 come bet with 125 odds. So every time the 8 comes up, I'm winning 175. Right. You're winning, 2,100. I'm winning 175. And I was thinking to myself, I should jump on this. Uh-huh. And I was at one point seriously considering, okay, I'm going to go ahead and put out, $1,200 because I was ahead quite a bit, and I'm thinking I'm going to put 1,200 on that 8.
Yeah.
And then I thought, now if I do that, it'll be 7 out. I'll be so pissed off at myself. I'm just going to collect 175 and let Mark be happy. And it actually, I can't complain. I had the 6 up to 750.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I hit a couple of hard 6s for $100 each. So
it was $100 with the base bet. So you won $1,000.
I won $1,000,
mm-hmm,
right? Yeah, $100 was the base bet. Yeah. So I was making money in those 5 and 9s. He was hitting 9s like crazy, and I was hopping 5 and 9. I can't tell you how many times I hit the 9 on the hop.
Yeah,
one time for $100.
Yeah, because it was like repeating it. Yeah,
yeah. So that pays $1,500. Yeah, I mean it was crazy how he was hitting those 5s and 9s.
It's funny because all the dealers were, what's up with Mark? I can't believe it. But it wasn't completely unusual for me. It's just that I had never been on that good a roll,
right,
and been able to jump on it like I did.
Well, I was telling my dad, and he could never get this through his head. I gave up on Sunday. I was so frustrated because he kept talking about it, and I kept telling him, Dad, we've never had 14 8s,
Yeah, right.
Mark collected 2 or 3 times at least, like he normally does. Mm-hmm. But then he thought, okay, I'll press. Well, when the guy rolled it, he just pressed it a little every time. Finally, you get up to 1,200. It's like, okay, I'm going for this.
Yeah, right. I was hoping to get to the table maximum, which was 3,000, which I would have done if it had hit one more time.
Right, one more time. I was trying to explain to my dad, it's not like you weren't collecting money. I mean, when the 1,800 hit, you get paid 2,100,
and then minus 600 to press it to 24. So I'm getting $1,500.
You're getting $1,500 profit. I mean,
which is nuts. That's how. I mean, if I win that in a night, it's huge.
Yeah, it's a big night for you, right? So at the end of his roll, you're up like $5,000 on his roll.
Yeah.
Right? I won around that same amount. It's just I started lower.
Yes.
So I had a ways to go to get back to even. But it was a phenomenal roll.
Yeah, it was great.
It was a combination of a lot of those 8s, but he made a lot of 6s, a lot of 9s, and a lot of 5s.
Yeah, yes.
He made a ton of numbers, and he made like 6 points.
Yes, right. They weren't unique, so we didn't win on the fire bet. But yes, he made a lot of points too.
So, it was great. I mean, I had a lot on the line every time.
Yeah. I was thinking about it, Mike. I think this might have been my 3rd best session of craps in my life just money-wise.
Sure.
Because the best was, of course, when we hit all those 4s at Caesar's Palace.
Right.
And then we hit the fire bet, a couple of years ago. But I think this is number 3. And that's saying something for as much as, we play craps. But it was pretty incredible.
Yeah. It was all that one roll. The rest of the night was very mediocre.
Very choppy, yes. Yeah. Very. It's funny now. I'm glad you mentioned the 5s and 9s because during the roll, when I was up and things were going real well, I was getting pressure to hop the 5 and 9.
Mostly by me, but a lot started by the dealers. They're like, come on, Mark, you're winning so much.
That's right. Hopping the 5 and 9 is a very popular bet at Harrah's for whatever reason. It started with our buddy Ron, who used to deal there. He loved, hopping the 5 and 9. Hop the 5 and 9. So they're pressuring me to do it. And so finally, all right, I'll hop the 5 and 9. I never make prop bets. Right. You know that, Mike. I never make prop bets, right? So I throw in and I hop the 5 and 9. It didn't hit, but over the course of a few more rolls, hop the 5 and 9, Mark. All right, so I $5 each on the 5 and 9 hopping. And sure enough, I don't remember which one, 5 or 9 came up. It's like, woo! Right. And so I said, collect. I'm just going to collect.
Right.
And then you guys started putting pressure on me, like, don't collect, parlay. And the dealers are saying it, right?
Well, that's how I got mine so high, parlay.
So I said, okay, parlay. So the parlaying on that, it ended up with $20 each on the 5 and 9. Okay, so one of our favorite dealers, Seda, is on the cards.
Right.
Now, just to remind everybody, this is California, so craps is based on cards. And what happens is we roll dice, and the dice determine which cards are turned over, and that actually determines the roll.
Right.
So Seda is on cards. So the guy rolls the dice, Seda turns over the cards, and it's a 5.
It's a 3 and a 2.
A 3 to 2. It's like, yes, Mark, my parlay hit. And then they say, no, Seda, you turned over the wrong cards.
She turned over the 5 green card and the 5 red card. But it was 6 and 5, not 5 and 5. But she just turned over the 2 5s, and it turned out to be a 3 and a 2.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, God. And we're laughing. What are the odds, right? She makes a mistake, and it's a 5, right? So then...
Well, she turned over the correct card, and thank goodness it wasn't a 7. I was it was probably an 8.
It was probably an 8.
Yeah.
I think it was.
I think it was,
You were saying, well, that works out better for me anyway.
That's right. So then later on in the same roll...
Yeah, I mean, maybe like 5 or 6 rolls later...
Right. You're on the 5 and 9 now.
For quite a bit of money.
Quite a bit more, right? Yeah. Seda is still on the cards. She turns it over. It's a 5.
A 3 and a 2
again. 3 and a 2.
I'm like, woo!
And once again, they say, no, Seda, you turned over the wrong cards.
She had done the exact same thing. And how she picked 2 cards. And this time it wasn't like the 5 green, 5 red. It was just 2 random cards. Yeah. She just flipped over 2 cards and it's 5. It was
funny. Wrong again. She was so embarrassed.
But once again, it wasn't a 7 out.
It was something else. But twice when we had hop bets, 5 and 9, a 5 came up, but not really.
Right. Yeah. Not really. It was so funny. I mean, you'll see them turn over the wrong cards maybe once a night.
Yes.
Maybe once
a night. Usually they go the whole night and everything's perfect.
I mean, sometimes it's like, once a month we'll catch somebody turning. And the other dealers usually catch it. Like, and it's easy because they call out 6, 5 and you might hear 5 and you turn over both 5s.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
But twice within like a span of 5 rolls, and both times it's a winner on our hot bets. Yeah. Oh, God.
Well, when the guy finally 7'd out, I tipped him and I threw some money in for the dealers. I think I just did a hand.
I tried to tip him. He wouldn't take it.
The shooter?
The shooter.
Well, he took my tip.
He took your tip, right?
Yeah.
And then I was, he was getting ready to leave, and I thought, I'm going to give this guy some money. He got me all the way back ahead. So I just trying to give him $100. He wouldn't take it.
Wow,
he's like, no. He kept pushing it back. And I'm like, no, it's a tip. Thank you. Your roll really helped me a lot. No, he wouldn't take it.
Wow, because he did not make much money on his roll. No. Like we said, he was,
Mark, he started with like $25.
Oh, okay. So what did he cash out for? Like 200?
No, it was like 4.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, he made some money. He was very happy.
Okay.
I don't think he knew how he made it.
Yeah, he was.
I don't know, but I was just going to give him another 100 because I thought, well, I just won $5,000 on this roll.
Yeah.
But no, he didn't. He didn't want it.
So a good night. That's my 3rd winning session in a row, and significant. All 3 have been fairly big. It seems like ever since we had our dealing with a loss episode, dealing with losses,
you haven't had to lose.
Yeah, I haven't lost.
Well, I wish we had left right then. I would have come home with a lot more money. I mean, I came home with enough, but I wasn't nearly what I would have had.
It definitely got cold. And after his role, I went back to the way I was playing.
Yeah, you were just placing the 68, which once again worked good for you because God, what was it, like 3 or 4 shooters in a row where I'd get up to, I'd go into 3 come numbers and then 7 out.
Yeah, it was not working for you.
And it was just not going anywhere. And you were doing okay because
I was hovering.
If you hit a 6 or an 8, you kind of break even for the rolls.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because once he finally 7'd out, a listener, Eric, came up to the table. We knew we were going to be meeting with him, and I had been texting him back and forth. We weren't getting there at the time we thought we were going to get there, and we were going to be later. And anyway, cell service at Harrah's is really bad.
Terrible.
So he probably would have come up to the table earlier if he'd gotten my final message, but he didn't get it till it was too late. So he showed up just in time to miss the big roll. But it was okay because we played with him for quite a while. It was choppy. He was down quite a bit at one point, and then he had a nice recovery.
Right. He had to buy in again. And then he recovered some money because we did have a couple of good rolls towards the end.
Yeah, but had a nice recovery. It was great to play with him. Yeah, we played for quite a while with him.
Yeah, good player.
Yeah, he actually was at VIMF last year and had attended the craps lessons that we put on. He said that's how he learned to play craps.
Right, and he's probably cussing you out right and left every day. Darn Mark.
But anyway, he had a great story. He lives in New Jersey, so he goes to Atlantic City, more than any other place to play. So a little background. So a while back, listener Rick told us about a bet that he saw at the craps table at Presque Isle Downs and Casino called Super Aces. It was a horn bet with a bunch of extra money on the 2 aces.
And we had never heard of that.
We had never heard of it before. So how it worked was if you tossed to the stick like $10 and said Super Aces, that means make a horn bet for $4 and put all the rest of the money on 2. So you'd have $1 each on the 3, 11, and 12, and then $7 on the
aces.
the 2, the aces. Yeah. Right. So a horn bet and then all the rest of the $10. So again, $7 total on the aces. So we had never heard of that bet before. We couldn't find anyone who had heard of the bet before. We asked all the dealers and, nobody had heard of it. We even said on the show, if you've heard of it, let us know. But we thought, well, maybe it was some kind of bet that had started at Presque Isle Downs and Casino, and it was just peculiar to that casino. Like some guy had come up with it, some player.
Well, we actually talked about it to the dealers at Harrah's, and I wanted to come up with my own bet. Like, just if I say, I can't remember what stupid word we came up with.
I can't remember either.
It was something stupid. If I say this, you know what it means. It means I'm making this bet.
Yeah.
That didn't catch on.
No, it didn't catch on. Thank goodness. I think it was offensive now that I think of it. It's probably something we can't even say on the show.
Yeah, I think it was.
But anyway, so Eric said that he was at Caesar's Palace in Atlantic City and he saw someone make the Super Aces bet and the dealers knew exactly what it was. So, I mean, that's surprised us, but it's like, wow, okay, so maybe it is a real thing, however obscure, that at least in Atlantic City and Presque Isle, they know
maybe
what
it's an East Coast thing.
Maybe, that's true.
Because I've never seen it in Las Vegas.
No.
And we've heard a lot. We've been at a lot of craps tables in Vegas.
Yeah. So anyway, that was good. So Eric, great to meet you. Oh, he also made a bet for us on the Chargers.
Yes.
At your suggestion.
Yeah, I picked it. So blame me, but I picked the over because 7, I believe, was the...
the over-under for the number of Chargers wins this season was 7.
Yeah.
And so you asked him to bet the over, and so he did that for us because he went to Vegas right after we saw him at Harrah's. He went to Vegas and made that bet for us.
Before he went back home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I bet the over on the. Here's my reasoning: they're trying to get a new stadium here, right? And
which is not going to happen. We talked about it.
Probably not going to happen.
They need a 2/3 voter approval. It's just not going to happen.
But to have any chance at all, the election's in November. Their first game is September 11th, I believe. So, they have to win in September and October and maybe the first week in November. And if they get off to a really good start, I still don't think it'll pass, but that's their only hope that
if they have a big season,
they have a big season, or they get off to a
big
good
start to the season,
right? Because if they don't, there's no way that's passing.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably won't anyway. But if they had a big enough start and people were kind of fired up, maybe. Yeah. So I'm just assuming that they'll get a bunch of wins early, and maybe they'll get to that 8 wins. Okay, the election will come. They'll be like 6-1, and then they'll end up 8-8. That's what I'm thinking.
That's what you're thinking. That probably will be good. Well, thank goodness it's 7 and not like 7.5. So if it's exactly 7, at least it's a money back, right? So
that's true. We only have to get to 7.
All right, let's jump to our voicemail hotline. Hey, don't forget, call our hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. First up, it's Walter.
Hey, gentlemen. Walter here from Beaverton, Oregon. And I just wanted to share with you and your listeners a money management method that I had for video poker. Now, I kind of stole and borrowed this method from one of your previous callers that did the $20 or it was $100 blackjack challenge. And I converted it to video poker. So here's the way mine worked. Now, I tried this, and granted, I've only tried it once, well, actually twice, once over 2 days. And it worked very well for me. It does require a little self-discipline. So after a couple drinks, it didn't work so well. But before the drinks started arriving, it worked really well. So here's what I did. At the quarter level, I put $20 into a machine and waited for one of 3 outcomes to occur. And there's a 15-minute time limit. So either that 15 minutes went by and I still had all or part of my 20 or maybe a little bit more, or I had doubled my money within that 15 minutes, or I had lost it all within that 15 minutes. Whenever one of those 3 things occurred, I stopped playing that machine, took a little walk around the casino, picked another machine. And I did this time after time after time. I don't build a lot of points that way, but really what it does, it minimizes my losses and it maximized my wins. So I came away from that experience with a tiny little profit. I also tried that with dollars, and I tried that with $100 in, played a loss limit down to $60. If that happened, or 15 minutes, or double it, I left the machine, took a walk, came back. And if I lost $60 of that $60 loss limit, I took the remaining 40 and did it over 2 machines, just like the previous method. It worked very, very well for me. Like I said, minimized my losses and maximized my wins. Came away with a tiny little profit. Nothing's going to pay the college tuition, but it was a tiny little profit, and I had fun doing it. So thought I'd share that with you and your listeners. Keep up the good work on the podcast. Talk to you later. Bye.
Yeah, if you're able to do it, you have the discipline, you have fun, still doing it. It's great.
That is a good method.
Yep.
And we've tried that with craps even, right? Where we would set a time limit and we'd say, we either lose all of our money or we double our money.
Yep.
We set some amount that we wanted to win.
Yep.
And then if we reach that before the time limit, we'd walk. If we reach the time limit, we'd walk. So, we've done that, and that's a great way to play. It just takes a lot of discipline.
Yep, and it's great money management. It's great psychologically.
Right.
If something goes real bad, say you put in the $20 at the machine, you don't win a single hand, which is possible, right?
Instead of getting another 20,
and being angry and thinking, oh, maybe I'll bump up to 50 cents or $1 or $2. So it does let you clear your head. So yeah, that's a great way to do it.
The problem I have with this,
is
it needs a name.
Oh, okay.
Because we've done this with craps. You can do it with video poker.
Right. It was the blackjack challenge that our previous
challenge. But we need a name so we can say, And since Walter called, I'm going to call it Walter's Hole.
Walter's Hole?
Yeah, Walter's Hole.
All right. Why is that?
Yeah, there's this fishing spot in Canada called Walter's Hole that I always catch a lot of fish at.
Yeah.
So I'm going with Walter's Hole.
I don't think people are going to be thinking of fishing holes when you say Walter's Hole.
Oh, I know. Probably not. But there's this fishing hole, and the guy who found it was Walter.
All right.
So for me, it's Walter's Hole. You call it whatever you want.
All right. Sorry, Walter.
It's got his name in there.
Okay. All right. That'll be for video poker. Then
we'll come up for another one with craps.
Yeah, you want to play some Walter's Hole? No. Oh, no, it's not that. It's all right.
Well, no, it's just the name of a strategy.
All right. Next
Walter's Hole strategy.
Next call.
Spelled with a W.
Hey there, you can get on that. Justin from Minnesota calling. Just calling about a trip report of a trip I took the 16th through the 19th of July. Stayed on the Strip, stayed at New York. Did quite a bit of play at Luxor. If you listen to Vegas Fanboy, he reported he saw $5 tables. I was actually there at the same time and had the pleasure of meeting him. Good guy, and I can report the same that I saw $5 tables at Luxor both Saturday and Sunday night. Made a venture downtown. Had a great craft session at Downtown Grand. It was just a buddy eye, and then there was a couple. Table was red hot. They had the 5 bets going, so we both took advantage of those. I asked for my rating at the end of the session, and the amount he gave me was including my odds. So they rate you at Downtown Grand with your odds. So that's a huge benefit for people playing there. I know there's been talks about, places like Cromwell, don't they have some like crazy system where they rate you on your odds and all these different bets, but Downtown Grand rates you on your odds. So I'm really hoping that I get an offer because I'd love to play there again and I'd love to stay there as well. Moved over to the D, just played there for a little bit, and then I went at Golden Gate and I played some blackjack by myself. Ended up doing really well, like the best I've ever done in blackjack. It seems like I couldn't lose. I had kind of a slower dealer, and he had like a really weird quirk where he wouldn't flip the card over with his hand. He would always use the card. It was kind of unusual, but it seems like, whatever he did, if he had a face and I had, a 17 or something, he always had a 5 under there and break. Eventually, I think they pulled out the cooler and I dropped the table minimum, and I think I lost 5 of 6 against her, and I called it a day. Overall, it was a great trip. I, for the first time ever, managed to pay off my expenses by winning.
Nice.
So it's a great trip, and I look forward to going back out there. Fortunately, not unfortunately, I'm expecting a daughter in October, so I don't think I'll make it back out there until probably March, so I'm definitely not going to see you guys at Sim, hopefully next year. Anyways, that was it.
All right. Well, congratulations, Justin.
Yes,
on the
girls are great. Have more.
And that's a legitimate excuse to miss Vimp. It's probably the only legitimate excuse, but I think that'll work. Yeah.
Having a new baby is definitely great.
We've seen that before where dealers will turn over their down card with the other card. I think that's actually fairly common. Yeah.
Fairly common. Yeah. But it's great that the guy, isn't it great when that happens when
I know
you just can't do anything wrong?
Yeah,
you get 17, you're thinking, 17, and he's got 15.
That is nice. Hey, good news about Downtown Grand, right? Rating you on the odds.
Yeah, if that really is, that's a great thing.
Well, you say that you've been getting quite a lot of offers from them.
I do get a lot of offers.
We did not play there very long.
No.
So, the way that you play, it definitely got their attention.
Yeah, they're trying to build business up. There's no doubt about that. I like that.
So when we're out there for Vimp, let's hit that pretty hard, and you'll probably get more offers. And I'd love to play there again. I like the crews that were there, and I love the free buy bets. So,
the crew was excellent. Actually, I remember the crew being superb.
Yeah, I agree.
Dealing very well.
I agree. Yeah, you could tell
Not
that
just
they
friendly,
loved the game.
But they dealt well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, one final call from Ethan.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Ethan from Virginia. I called in and gave you a trip report about Vegas not too long ago, and now I wanted to give you a trip report of my experience in Atlantic City this past weekend. I noticed that most of the properties were offering tons of carnival games, double draw poker, Caribbean stud, casino war, and others that I learned about from your show. Even the Big Six Wheel was packed on Friday night, which I could not believe. I guess AC does pretty well during the summer with all the people coming out to the beach, because while we were there, you wouldn't have really known they were hurting for business. In regards to the table games, most of Blackjack paid 3-2, although I did notice that the $10 tables at Harris paid 6-5 and were jam-packed, where on the adjacent wall there were several $15 tables paying 3-2 that were completely empty. So we played there and did all right. It seemed pretty standard that Video Poker and AC paid 8-5, which isn't terrible. I guess I definitely have seen worse on the Strip. One great thing I noticed, especially for you all, was that every property we visited had tons of craps tables. 8+ tables open at Caesars and the Borgata. Harris had quite a few as well, all ranging from $10 to $25. We only found one $5 table that was at the Wild Wild West Casino, also known as Bally's Party Pit. But 5 times odds was pretty standard, which was nice. And lastly, I wanted to talk about the Borgata. In my opinion, they are a player's casino. They seem to cater to the low roller. My buddy Doug, who I typically gamble with, and also the one who turned me onto your show, is an M Life Gold member. And because of this, they did offer him an upgrade to Black Label. With this, he got a $100 promo for free slot play or match play. He took the slot play and was able to convert that into cash. We also got a $20 meal credit, which was enough for 2 buffets at the Black Label buffet exclusively for those members, which was great. The food was phenomenal, and they had a pretty good selection of it. And we were able to get in there and get out of there and back to the tables pretty quickly. The dealers we had at the Borgata were also the best in Atlantic City that we encountered. And lastly, they only charged $5 for parking, and it was free for Black Label members, unlike some of the other properties that charge $10 to $25. Overall, I had a great time there. I'll be in Vegas for a week at the end of August, so I look forward to calling in with some reports from there in about a month. In the meantime, keep up the great work on the show, and good luck at the tables.
It's great to hear that Borgata still has that deal going.
Yes.
Because when we went, now a couple years ago,
right.
I'm a Diamond member at Total Rewards. Yeah, I just showed him my Diamond card, and sure, same thing, $100 in free play and $20 in food. Yeah. So.
Yeah, the Borgata, listening to him, I want to go back to Atlantic City.
Yeah, I know. We were talking to Eric. Well, Eric also said that, Atlantic City seems to be doing better.
Yeah,
now that some of them have closed.
Well,
and
he
it's
said
having
that
a bit
the
of a
casinos
comeback.
that are doing well are doing really well.
Okay.
And some of the casinos that aren't doing so well were doing pretty bad.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, who's going to survive, I think.
We were talking with Eric. We would love to go back to Atlantic City, but if we go to the East Coast again for a casino trip, we've got to head up to Connecticut and hit those casinos
it'd be
up
nice
there.
to do both if we had enough time.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to go to Washington, D.C. next year. I wonder how far...
Just for a vacation?
Just for a vacation, yeah. I wonder how far away...
it's right there. It's right there.
It's right there, You rent a car. It's right there.
But you have to check out that new Maryland casino that's opening, though. That actually you could do.
Yeah, that I could do. Right.
All right, one kind of big news item for us that also was announced since our last episode. We have been invited to take part in 360 Vegas Vacation 4 next year. It'll be May 28th through the 30th, 2017. That's over Memorial Day. And Mark over at the 360 Vegas podcast, he's planning everything, and we will be taking part in a meet and greet that Tuesday afternoon along with the folks from the Faces and Aces Las Vegas podcast. So definitely looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Good.
Yeah.
It'll be a little extra trip for us, too.
I know. That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Like a mid-year trip.
Mid-year trip. Details are still being ironed out, but I'll put a link to the schedule in our show notes. And, of course, listen to 360 Vegas for more info. Yeah, definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Yeah. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. Hey, we want to thank some people for some PayPal donations. First of all, Zach, thanks very much for your recurring donation. Appreciate that. Also, Yahui, he said, this is for the book that you guys are never going to write. And that's true. We're never going to write a book.
Never going to write a book.
It's not going to happen. So we appreciate the donation. And good luck for my end of July Vegas trip. So that probably just wrapped up. So hopefully you had a good trip.
Hopefully you had a good trip.
Yeah. Also, Chris, he says, I have a Punta Cana trip as well as a New Orleans trip coming up and hope for some good luck at the craps tables. I appreciate all you guys do. That's from Chris. Thanks very much. Also, Sean, he says, thank you. Look forward to each show. Also, Labor Day trip upcoming. So hopefully he'll have some good luck for that.
Right,
yeah. And finally, Laura, she sent us a donation. We got a nice email from her. It looks like she's going to be here in San Diego towards the end of September.
Okay,
so hopefully
great.
we can meet her at Harrah's and maybe throw some dice with her.
Yeah,
so yeah, that'll
be
be a lot
great.
of fun. Yeah. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program to search through all the raw American TV data. Just go to our webpage, youcanbetonthat.com, and click on the link at the top that says TV listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. Also, follow us on Twitter at You Can Bet On That. We tweet when we're heading to a casino, and we'd love to meet up with you. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. And finally, head on over to iTunes and write a review on us. When you do, it helps us get new listeners. All right, Dr. Mike.
Well, I was thinking today at work, my God, we've got a lot going on. I mean, the Olympics starts Friday.
That's right.
We love the Olympics.
I'm a big Olympics guy.
Both of us love the Olympics.
Yep.
We've got our normal trips out to Rincon, right?
Yep.
We've got Vemp coming up. I
Yep.
mean, it's basically a couple months away.
That's right. Yep.
Your gambling stash is as big as it's ever been.
Oh, I mean, it was incredible. It's true. Yeah.
You're on this real hot streak.
Yep.
I mean, things are going pretty good for us.
Yeah, they
wouldn't
are.
you say?
I think they're going pretty well. Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
And football season starts.
Football season's coming up. We actually have a washer for
nice.
laundry. Yeah,
Yep,
still
good,
working. Yeah.
Good. You don't have air conditioning. I'm burning up
I
right
know.
now.
Sorry about that. We've got a little one in our master bedroom, so I'm going to be fine tonight.
Your stash is as high as it's ever been. The air conditioner's on the fritz.
Look, that's separate, all right?
Yeah.
That is separate. Yeah, you're going to be dying here tomorrow when you come for poker. It's
Yeah,
gonna be,
I know.
It's going to be rough.
I'm going to bring my own, I think.
I'll put on a fan. I can't have a fan going during the
I
show
know. Well,
because
that's what Lynn
you'll
said.
hear it.
My wife, I was telling her, she's like, why don't you guys put some fans around the room? And I'm like, well, no, we can't have fans because it blows the cards. Remember, no matter where we aim it, somebody's cards are getting blown around. Hey, that's another thing. And you've got card night every Tuesday, too.
Yeah. Yep.
Boy, you were leading a charmed life.
It's charmed, my friend.
Charmed.
Yes. All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.